Hey everyone, my name is Wedge and welcome to the Mana Source's new Commander series. In this series, we will discuss the basics of Commander, a format that started at the kitchen table and has evolved to the most popular casual variation of Magic that is even supported by Wizards itself. Commander, originally referred to as Elder Dragon Highlander and occasionally still called EDH for short, requires you to build your deck around a legendary creature of your choosing. You then build a 100 card deck based around the color identity of the general, which we will go into more detail about later. The other trick is you can only run one copy of any given card in your deck. The standard exceptions apply, of course, for basic land and other cards that specify otherwise, such as Relentless Rats and Shadowborn Apostle. The format has its own ban list, including cards that were banned for their power level, like Sundering Titan, lack of interactivity, like limited resources, or price, like Library of Alexandria, so don't expect to put any Moxen in your Commander deck. 4 legendary creatures are banned from the format as generals only: Kokosho the Evening Star, Raphelos Llanowar Emissary, Arrayo Soratami Ascendant, and Braid's Cabal Minion. You can still play these cards in your deck, just not as your commander. Most Commander players will adhere to this ban list, but the format does encourage you to create your own house rules. Aside from the ban list, every card printed is at your disposal, giving deck builders endless possibilities. Each commander has a color identity, which consists of the colors in the creature's mana costs, and any mana symbols in the card's rule text. Rafik of the Many has a color identity of white, blue, and green, while Visar the Dreadful is only black. Color identity can be different from what would normally be considered a card's colors. For example, Bosch Iron Golem has a color identity of red. While it is a colorless artifact creature, the red symbol in its activated ability cost makes its color identity red. Commanders with hybrid mana symbols have both colors as their identity. Color identity is crucial when building a deck, as the cards must not have a color identity outside of the commanders. Let's say Rafik of the Many is your commander. You could play Swords to Plowshares, Eternal Witness, or Mana Drain in your deck because they all fall under Rafik's color identity. Sterling Grove, Treva the Renewer, and Lorescale Coda would also be legal, as they all represent some subset or all of Rafik's identity. Deity of Scars would be illegal since its color identity is both green and black. Disciple of the Old Ways has an activated ability that is red and is also illegal. You can play artifacts and non-basic lands as long as they follow the color identity rules, which count rules text. Tropical Island and Dispeller's Capsule are legal in Rafik, but Rakdos Signet and Shivan Gorge aren't. Another note about color identity is that you can only produce mana of your commander's color identity. With Rafik as your commander, effects that would produce you red or black mana will produce colorless mana instead. Also, while land types are related to color, they do not count against color identity. Your Rafik deck can play any of the Onslaught or Zendikar fetch lands, or cards such as Farseek. A commander deck must contain exactly 100 cards, including your commander, and must contain no more than one copy of a card in your deck other than basic lands. Some playgroups allow an additional 10 card sideboard, but that isn't required to play. While it seems like a daunting task, you will almost always find yourself trying to fit in more than 100 cards. Considering that a commander deck will contain 34 to 37 lands, you only need to fill roughly 65 spots. With access to almost every card in the history of Magic, it's common to have 200 to 300 cards to consider for one deck. Commander has evolved from a casual format to one of the most popular variants of the game. Wizards has endorsed the format, releasing pre-constructed commander decks and products while designing cards specifically for the format in new expansions, like Command Tower. Many stores are starting to run regular commander tournaments or weekly leagues, and commander is often a side event option at larger scale events and conventions. At the very least, you will be likely to find players jamming a game in between rounds or during downtime. In our next video, we go into more detail about the gameplay of Commander and how it differs from a regular game of Magic. As always, subscribe below for the latest and most reliable Magic the Gathering information you could ever need. This is the Mana Source, I'm Wedge, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.